Georgia lost to Alabama, but their chance at a historic season is not over. Um, I know losing to Alabama in the SEC championship and the way they did is very discouraging across the college football universe, and fans have a right to be skeptical. I'm skeptical of what Georgia can do in these playoffs. I think they're going to beat Michigan, but their historic season, that's not necessarily over. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, trying to bring you a little bit of optimism here on Christmas Eve. Recording this on Christmas Eve. It should be coming out on Christmas Eve. What does Georgia want for Christmas? A national championship. That's what they want. I spoke to Paul Feinbaum. If Georgia wins the national championship, people are going to forget about what happened in the SEC championship, losing to Alabama. And he made a great point. Georgia won the 2017 SEC championship, and guess who won the national championship? Alabama. What do we remember? We remember that game. Georgia's chance at this is not over. I'm here to bring some optimism, maybe a little bit of hope for the Georgia fans. Sometimes me, Dean, Matt, we get on here and we're, you guys like to call us Debbie Downers and stuff like that. Sometimes that's the case. I'm gonna be positive today. Look, a 14-1 season is still on the table, and a 14-1 season where you beat Alabama in the national championship is more specifically still on the table. And what would that mean for Georgia? That means they would have beaten everyone they played in that season. They would have avenged their loss to Alabama. It would be poetic in a way. Obviously, it's not as sweet as a 15-0 season, but a 14-1 season where you beat everyone you played, you win the national championship, all of that is still attainable, and it's somewhat realistic. A lot of people are going to pick Georgia to win if a rematch does occur, which, if you had to ask me right now, I think the rematch will occur. I think Georgia is going to beat Michigan, and I think Alabama is going to beat Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl. That's my prediction. I don't really have a score prediction yet for either of those. That'll come out next week when we do a final feelings. But listen, Georgia, what is the shame in that? In a 14-1 national championship? Zero. The answer is there isn't any. And that's still something that could happen for the Dogs, for Athens, for the community, for the alum. And it would probably be the most special season in Georgia history. I mean, let's not forget the historic 12-0 dominant regular season they had. It's definitely something to be proud of, the way they dominated, the way they held opponents to about 6 or 7 points a game. That has obviously ticked up with the SEC championship and allowing Alabama to put up 41 on you. Nonetheless, Georgia was dominant all year long. Their biggest test at the beginning was Clemson. Handled that. They shut out opponents. No one came close to even competing with them. There was no game that really felt super competitive all year long. There was no game where I was there watching, and I was at every game of Vanderbilt. There was no time where I felt, wow, what if Georgia doesn't win this game? That never happened. And if you guys were at the games, I know a lot of you were probably at a lot of the games. That was never the case. 14-1, beating Alabama in the national championship is something that can still happen. And I imagine that's what a lot of you guys are asking for Christmas and asking to start your New Year's off with. You can't ignore the fact that Michigan's on the table right now. That's not what I'm saying. And I know I've been cheering for you guys, pushing you guys to look forward to the Michigan game, stop looking back, and that's still the case. Michigan is the focus right now. Beating Michigan should be Georgia's focus right now. How are they going to respond? They've had these last 3 weeks. The kids had to take finals. They had to, they've been on campus by themselves. No one's really in Athens. You have to listen to people like me come on here and talk about how you lost Alabama. How are these guys going to respond when Michigan is coming in? As you can hear my dog barking in the background, I'm not in Athens right now. I am home for Christmas, and so there might be some disruptions from my whack family. No, I love them, but Michigan is still in front of you, and you got to beat them in the Orange Bowl. And I hope you guys like my Patrick Star Christmas sweater that I got last year. I do. It used to light up until I ran it through the washer and dryer, which was stupid of me. But anyway, Michigan Orange Bowl. That's the first test. Win that game. You have a shot at probably Alabama. I really don't think Cincinnati is going to beat them in the Cotton Bowl. But what I'm really here is just bring some optimism and a little bit of a holiday spirit for you guys, because it's the SEC championship won't matter if Georgia wins the next 2 games, and it's easy to dwell on that, but that's still ahead. And the real question is, as I was interrupted by my dog, Michigan is the hottest team in the country. They've had these last few weeks to celebrate. They already beat Ohio State, and that honestly may have been almost as important as winning a national championship to them. They beat Ohio State for the first time in a long time, and they dominate Iowa in the Big Ten Championship. They're the hottest. Georgia's at the lowest point they've been in all year. They got dominated by Alabama after all that success in the regular season. They're in completely opposite positions. Is that going to matter? Are you going, if you're Georgia, are you going to take that and flip the switch and move on and go dominate like they can, no matter who's at quarterback? I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be Stetson Bennett. That's my intel. I think JT's the better quarterback. I've come on here and said that before. But just from what I know and the way it's looking, I think it's going to be Stetson Bennett starting out there. How Stetson Bennett and the rest of the Georgia Bulldogs going to respond to the way they lost? Are you going to have that significant 14-1 season where you beat everyone you played, or you win the national championship? One of those two things. That's still on the table. If you guys are watching this, if the Georgia players are watching this, I know some of you guys do. How are you going to respond? How have you been treating your body the last few weeks? How have you been treating your mind the last few weeks? You're in a completely different position as Michigan. You're at your lowest and Michigan's at their highest. Who's going to use that to their advantage? Is it going to be you or Michigan? That's my question. And I'm optimistic that Georgia's going to beat Michigan. And then that's where we got to go first. And then we could talk about the national championship. But really, I just want to bring on here and bring a little bit of Christmas hope and spirit for you guys. And no matter what holiday you guys celebrate, I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching and have a happy holidays and a happy new year. But we'll see you on Dog Post all next week. So I have plenty of time to wish you guys a happy new year. Make sure you're on the site and on our YouTube, on all of our social medias, where we're bringing you coverage of the Orange Bowl next week. Thanks.